Hey guys, welcome back to the next video in our all the bosses in the entire Dark Souls series from worst to best series. Man, that's a mouthful. This is our second video, and joining me once again is Gabe.
Hey. All right.
Hey, yeah. So let's get down to this. Last video we did all the worst bosses in the series, the bottom 10, and we started at 82 and worked our way to 91.
Yeah.
This week we're doing the what's going to become the normal format, which is we're starting at 81 and working down 10 to 72.
Yeah.
These are still really bad bosses. We're not much better than the bottom 10. We're just a little bit, but we're gonna still slowly start climbing up there. And you know we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be a pretty long series, but you know we'll eventually get there.
Yeah. It's gonna be what 9-10 episodes.
9-10 episodes, yeah, and we're only on episode 2, so we got quite a ways to go.
Well,
We still
till
made this
then,
too.
just watch me, not doing too well with the dagger. Yep, there it goes.
Yeah. To be honest, you're versing a great club, so don't even feel bad. But
I expected to
with
bleed
that-
damage more, but it didn't.
let's get down to business. Starting at 81, the Cursed Rotted Greatwood. Yes.
Yes. Now this
Um,
boss, there are some good things about it. Not much, but
hmm
I
I mean, it
wouldn't
kind
say
of.
it's horrible, like, just like how the other bosses wise, but it's just boring and the whole weak spots. There are certain weak spots that are just annoying to get to.
Yeah.
All the enemies in the room, like, they're the type you want to just clear out with a bow or magic beforehand because they just get in the way. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say they're difficult, they just get in your way.
Yeah, you're in the middle of attacking and then they randomly hit you. I
Yeah.
must say that from all the bosses that I can think of, Dark Souls does just not do weak spots very well. I mean, we got the Ancient Wyvern that was in our bottom 10. We had the what's
the
his
whole
name?
weak spot thing is more of a Shadow of the Colossus thing. They should have kept it to that.
Yeah, but it just
This-
doesn't work for our Soul series, and
Yeah.
I usually face this boss much later on. I didn't for the sake of this video, but there's really no need to kill it when it's first presented to you.
Yeah,
I mean,
all it gets you is, like, if you do it early, if you missed Mad Covenant, whatever it's called, the
mhm.
Grave Diggers, it's kind of worthless because then you have to do a whole quest line to be able to get it, unless beforehand you already went to the cage, went down here, got the Covenant.
Mhm.
But that acid, that annoys me.
So unless you want one of the early game boss weapons, there's just no point in killing it. I mean,
Which, saying that, he has one of the best boss weapons for
Yeah,
Gale and just other hollows in general.
yeah, the hollowed greatsword. It's a
Greatsword,
very
yeah.
very good weapon.
It's a great weapon. Yeah,
good in
that's
good in PvE
definitely the
and
best thing
PvP.
about him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I like his design myself. It's like gratuitous and like disgusting. So
But it is
I
disgusting.
do like the design, but otherwise he's just kind of a boring fight, and it takes longer than it needs to because some of the weak spots are just hard to get to, especially on his back.
So the next
Yeah.
boss, I'll
Yeah.
take this one first. The Spear of the Church is actually probably, I'd say, my least favorite boss in any of the Dark Souls games. It is higher on the list because there are a few good points about it, and
Yeah.
the fact that it's my least favorite is a personal decision. But
And if you're me, you just always go and attack the giant first for no reason.
yeah, we always did that at first, and then we realized
Yeah.
that there actually was no reason to attack the giant. He just stands there, which is a
I just
problem
don't
because
care.
every time you die to this boss, you have to get a lecture from that guy. It's annoying. It's just you just waiting there,
Yeah.
and then
This
of
Naked
course,
Guardian, it's good at rolling. It's got that wood grain ring, I think. Nah, it just has a good at
yeah,
dodging.
it basically sums up the PvP experience. Just roll and you won't get hit. And this, of course, the gimmick to this boss is that you can either fight a regular NPC if you're offline, or if you're online, you have a good chance of getting invaded by an actual person as the boss. Now, I will say that they did do the make it pretty fair. I mean, I've been both the boss and multiple times I fought the boss, and I had to say they're both equally challenging on both sides. That being said, it's not presented in a way that makes it feel very fair. I mean, I always feel like I'm at a disadvantage, even though I know I'm not. Like, I'm getting constantly bombarded by this guy. And then, of course, if you're fighting an actual person and you switch to that guy, they take advantage and hit you a couple times. So,
then
it really just doesn't...
For me, when you get summoned in, there's just... You always run into the whole 4-man gank squad, and you're just like, well, I just shall lie down and let my self die.
Yeah, and again, they do things with that, like with the 4-man squad, they'll give you more health. So, and it's definitely a cool concept. It never feels fair. It's one of those boss fights that I can't learn from my mistakes, because you never know who you're gonna fight. And the entire boss fight depends on who you get as a player. Like, I've gotten people who are complete trash at PvP, and I've gotten people who are like parry kings.
Oh yeah, then there's the annoying part where sometimes you'll just randomly be sucked out of your own world, even if you're not in the Covenant. Which are me fighting the first part of Madeira, and that happens, you get a little salty.
This is a bonus clip that I added to the end, at the end. Last thing I want to say is, if you're fighting somebody with lag, it's very, very just a not fun fight. So that's why it's this low on the list. Some people might disagree. Me, I just like one-shotting bosses with skill. So I did that.
It's a good old medium shield parry.
Just like that
stuff.
stuff.
Don't see it coming.
So next up we got the Guardian Dragon. This is another one that I had to double because you just beat it so fast.
I mean... he's boring if you actually know what you're doing against the boss and don't run away like multiple people. There's no... This is the problem with this boss. Some people find it more difficult than it actually is, because they try to run away if they get hit, instead of just healing under him where he's not going to do anything to you.
Yeah. His moves are predictable. He hasn't flown up into the air. I don't think he flies up into the air in this fight.
Yeah,
but
to stay under him, he doesn't. It's such an easy boss, and people just run away, which is not how you fight this boss. I think people have more difficult time against this boss because they don't know how to fight it. It's just me. But
even if you do run away from the boss and he flies up in the air, all you have to do is run to the edge of the arena.
It's such an easy boss.
Yeah, like a lot of bosses, the first time you fight him, it might present a challenge, but after that, it's just a very simple kind of just stand there and take it kind of boss, you know.
I gotta say, his boss arena is super cool. Like, it's just a cage that Aldia kept him as a pet. So I do like that.
Yeah.
That is fairly cool, but otherwise, he's just kind of bland, super easy, very easy to know what to do. It's kind of like a pre-up to the Ancient Dragon.
Yeah.
Showing
and of course,
how the Ancient Dragon is.
Of course, right after him, you also have a lot of him that are basically normal enemies or mini-bosses.
Yeah, unless you're in Scholar where you just skip it. Anyway, 78.
High-Lord Wolnir, yes.
This boss, there are actually some good things about it, but...
I like this boss fight, though. This specific one I did, I mean. I don't think I got hit in this one.
Especially when the first time you go in, you go to grab the Pyromancy Tome right in front of him, and he just glows all of a sudden, you're like, ooh!
Yeah, I don't know why. I think I actually summoned out of this boss fight because I killed him too quickly or something. Because my souls weren't in here, but neither was the Pyromancy Tome, so I can feel it. But this is yet again another boss where he's very intimidating. He's a weak spot boss, but if you know what you're doing, you can pretty easily do a no-hit run on him.
Yeah.
I
die more than I care to admit on this boss, mainly because that fog sometimes glitches out and the rings don't keep it away.
Yeah, the hit
Yeah.
spots, like you have to be standing in a certain place.
Yeah, the rings, the fog does so much damage.
Yeah.
And when you summon skeletons, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Though,
like he definitely
don't
has a
get lucky.
cool design. He's a very intimidating. He summons the
He was
skeletons.
He's
But
just too easy, I believe.
he's too easy. Like we don't like hitboxes in our boss fights, so he's down
That's
pretty
just
low on the
personal
list.
opinion, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just smack rings, and it's a very boss. Like, if you see the rings, you're gonna go for them. Like, that's most
Yeah.
people's instinct. So it's not even like a puzzle like some Zelda bosses with weak spots.
Good thing that he has
Yeah.
decent lore. That so 77 is Nishandra.
Yeah, this boss, this was part of my do straight in a row from the Defender and Watcher, Lissandra, then Aldia. This boss I just did the easy way because I don't see a point in fighting her normally because she's just as easy.
Mhm.
She's got the curse blobs, but if you roll through two of them, what are they gonna do?
Mhm.
And all they do
I
is
decided to
make you
keep her
go hollow.
cutscene in because that's probably the best
Yeah.
thing about this
Her
boss.
cutscene is cool, I will say.
And she has
It's,
two of them.
Very
so.
cinematic. Yeah. Also, she's ugly.
Yeah, she's very ugly.
Yeah.
She is kind of a boring design, especially
The way she
considering.
praises the sun.
Yeah, she praises the sun. She has a boring design, especially considering that with the DLCs you get what's basically a reskin of her, a much better reskin of
Yeah.
her.
Oh, yeah.
And the curse orbs that she throws out, they do add an extra challenge to the fight, but if you just use
And her
magic,
beams
then
Are
yeah.
so easy to dodge.
Mhm.
Like, you'll see. That's probably the hardest part about her if you're just trying to fight her range and you don't know how to roll through beams.
Yeah.
But it's like a much easier version of dodging the few knights, like
Yeah.
attacks.
Like there's
Roll through.
there's
or
barely
dodge through.
barely any skill that needs to go into this fight
No.
if you
It's
like
such a
fight her
bad
at
last
range.
boss.
Yeah, it's
The
very
only
very
reason
pitiful.
Aldia was lower because he was a disappointment as a last boss. Like, they recognized that Lissandra was a very bad last boss, and they decided, hey, let's put a person that's just as easy.
Yeah. And if you fight her melee, she can be difficult. I say can very tentatively, but
Yeah.
Just
It's
not-
kinda
not
like
very-
He has some Aldrich moves that are much easier to
Mhm.
dodge with her scythe. Yeah, but
It's-
she's just boring.
it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Capra
76.
Demon. Nobody really likes the Capra Demon, and for a good reason. The
I want to
dogs.
see someone in the comments saying Capra Demon's their favorite boss.
Yeah.
Because I really wonder if there is someone that likes this boss.
I mean, I don't mind the actual boss part of this boss.
No.
I mean, I don't find him very interesting. I don't find him very difficult.
But then again,
But he's a
in
boss,
the-
you know. He hits hard,
In
and
the Demon Ruins, there is better versions of him that you get to fight on like flatness.
yeah, and they're
that
not
doesn't
even
have
mini
all this
bosses.
congestion. Yeah,
They're not even
and
mini
all
bosses, they
actually
just
fun to
respawn.
fight.
Yeah, but
Whereas
this guy,
one, there's just so much crap in your camera, like the stupid trees in this ring, that it's not fun.
uh-huh.
Like, that's my problem with this boss, is the cameras.
Yeah. And my biggest problem is probably that if you survive the first 10 seconds or so of this boss fight, you're probably good. If you can kill the dogs, you're good.
Yeah,
That's
unless
why
you get cornered by him.
that's why this Capra Demon is so low.
Yeah.
It's not a very interesting or good concept to have
No.
in a Souls game.
No. Anyway,
75 Skeleton Lords.
they're just boring.
Yeah.
Like, and especially in Scholar, I may be wrong, but in the original, I thought 3 bone wheels spawned.
I
in,
think
but
it
it's
was
only
actually like
2.
5 or something, or 4. I thought it was more than 3.
I thought it was more than 2.
Yeah.
Because in this one, only 2 spawn, and even on New Game Plus, which I can say because I just recently did it on New Game Plus.
But
So-
this is basically just like a boss
Yeah.
fight where there's a bunch of regular enemies. I mean, the
Yeah.
big ones aren't what very regular enemies, but they're pretty much regular enemies.
And you think as something called the Skeleton Lords, they would be important, which I don't really know any lore to them. That could just be me not knowing anything about them, but
Ooh, you got close there, man.
yeah, I always get close on these guys because I get careless, and it's really easy to heal against them. But it's like skeleton lords. You think there would be good lore about them, but I really don't know anything about them or
Yeah.
care to know anything about them.
Yeah, like
This
they're
is
just there randomly, you know.
Yeah, they're just very boring. Like, it's just fight a bunch of enemies, especially to kill 2 at once, like I did.
Mhm.
And then the last one, the little pyromancer with the scythe, or I think that's a scythe or a staff or whatever. So you just like, hey, here's 2 bone wheels, have fun. You're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Kill him as soon as I get Papa. I
Yeah.
will say the one good thing about this boss fight, one, it can overwhelm you if you are careless.
Yeah.
2, the mod that replaces bosses, this is a very, very entertaining fight to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Just a load of enemies everywhere.
Also
But-
to say, Dark Souls 2 bone wheels suck.
Hmm.
74, the Dragon Rider.
Yeah. Now, of course, there's
Yeah.
the cheese, which a lot of people use to instantly kill this
Yeah.
boss by making him throw himself off a cliff.
And then in the original, you could just shoot him in where the first lever is with a bow, and you could kill him that way. Or in Scholar, you could get him down to 1 HP and just kill him.
Uh-huh. So
pretty
lots of ways to
amusing.
cheese this boss, but his
Yeah.
actual fight is, I would say, it's decent for a.
It's fairly
Like,
entertaining.
You,
Better than
potentially,
Vid 2.
potentially he's the first boss you can fight. If you head here instead
Yeah.
of the woods, you can fight him first, and that makes him a not so bad boss. But
Yeah.
for a lot of his moves, you can like if you know what you're doing, you don't even really have to roll. Like you could just space
Yeah.
his moves.
Definitely.
Um,
There's also he's parryable as well.
mhm.
But he does open up my favorite weapon in the game.
yeah,
Wait,
the great sword.
unless you want to go to the
Vengarl.
whatever. Vengarl, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go to Vengarl and spend 5,000 souls, but yeah,
Mhm.
this is definitely great sword, best weapon in the game, my opinion. Probably
Yeah,
not, but I enjoy it.
In my opinion, this if they were gonna make any boss a regular enemy, which they did for like 20 of the Dark Souls 2 bosses, this would be a good boss to
Yeah.
do it because he definitely would be. It is easier as we proved with the double Dragon Riders later on.
Mhm.
73, the Demon Fire Sage.
The worst of the sages, in my opinion.
Yes, the worst of the
Or,
sages,
not sages,
very-
the
the
other
fat
thing they call
demons,
Yeah.
the really fat,
Yes.
retextured demons.
he has so many AoEs. Like, he has a throwable AoE, which is a bit annoying, but otherwise, it's just a fatter version of the first ones. Not fatter, but
Hmm.
he's just boring. Like, they just threw in another one, which 2 I'm fine with. Why'd they have to have 3?
Yeah.
Really?
See, I don't have so much trouble with the AOE's. My
Yeah.
biggest problem with this is that well, one, he's disappointment. Like he has the same amount of health, I'm pretty sure, as a stray demon, except you fight him potentially way later in the game.
Mhm. Also, why isn't he super resistant against fire?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't used any fire attacks on him. I don't
No,
think.
you use one pyromancy.
Yeah,
For
but
one ball to show it, and it is still, it's not as much as it should, but
mhm.
yeah, he should, like, if you're doing a level 1 run with pyromancies, he should be a hard one, and he's not.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
he
it's
also like they just don't need him in that area. They already have enough bad bosses in that area.
Alright, next, the Stray Demon. It's basically the same thing, it's just
Yeah.
you have to take damage going down.
Yeah. Now this part
My opinion.
I
Don't
had yeah, I don't like that either. But in this one I had a much tougher time of it because
Yeah.
I fought him
Went in.
fairly low level.
Exactly, yeah.
Even adding all that in, he's still not a challenge.
Yeah, this
Um,
one, we had to speed up, I believe, because it just took a while, but
Yeah, I showed it a lot of him, but you know, if you
Yeah.
fight him at the level I did, there's no way you can do enough damage. But you can survive very, very long times in this boss room without worrying
Yeah.
about it very much. And here we go with the
Yeah.
speed up. So yeah, there's not very much that we can add to this
No.
boss because he's just a
He just-
retexture of the other one.
he's a
and the other two.
retexture. I don't like that you're forced to take damage. I do like how, if it's your first time running through, you go back, you can get very surprised by just falling through the floor. That's
Yeah.
pretty neat to me.
And I actually think it's not a bad idea to kind of show how
No.
far you've come by making
Oh, yeah.
an asylum demon that's much tougher.
Yeah.
But he
Silent
just kind of
Demon Mark II.
spams AoEs like nothing else, and it doesn't
Yeah.
make him a fun fight. It's just kind of
Or
boring and
if you get
tedious.
behind his butt, he'll just keep doing the flying flop.
Yeah, like
He'll
that.
just like keep doing that move over and over again. That you bait him into it, unless he wants to just only spam AoEs.
Which he
Yeah,
does
but
quite frequently.
he's just fairly boring, like not really a challenge, and if you go in at a low level, it takes forever. Which
Yeah.
it's doable still. So it's
Yeah.
just an asylum.
The one good thing I can say about him also is that he gives the Titanite slab, which is obviously one of the best things that you can
Oh,
get
yeah.
in the game for leveling up your
Uh,
weapons.
Yeah,
So that's good. But
those are
All the
actually
same
rare
time-
in this one, unlike Dark Souls 3 and 2.
yeah, Dark Souls 2, you get tons of them.
Oh yeah.
But I think this one is our last one, so thank you guys for watching. I hope that you can see our next video when it comes out. Like and subscribe this video if you want to see more.
Yeah.
And
See ya.
see ya.